Hey, how's everybody going? It's your boy GD, aka Joshua from Wholesale Rebels with the First Deal Fast Track crew. I'm so excited here to talk to Eva and interview her. I kind of talked to her about her journey of how she closed her first deal. It was a long journey, and I know everybody's excited to get into it, so we're just going to dive right into it. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, Eva, kind of your background, what you do, and kind of how you got into real estate.
Yeah, so hey everyone, so happy to be here. Thanks for having me on your awesome platform, Josh. My name is Eva. I'm a Kenyan American from Baltimore. I studied accounting in college, and I've just kind of been working as an accountant for the last couple of years. I got into real estate because I had taken some positions in different like accounting. I'm sorry, in different like real estate. I don't know, like different um, like different areas of real estate, so like development and bonds and whatever. And I was like, you know what, I really want to transition into being a real estate investor myself. And I remembered a conversation I had with you where you had mentioned wholesaling or something like it. I wasn't even sure what it was called, so I think I kind of followed up with you, and that's how everything started.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So you've been in First Deal Fast Track Academy for a while,
Yeah.
for the first five-figure deal academy, and I want to, let you tell kind of how much you made your first deal. I don't want to ruin the surprise during COVID. Now let's get into that. But so you were interested in real estate. You wanted to get into it. What finally made you kind of take that leap to say, okay, I'm all in. I'm ready to dive in and get things started?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really sure, what real estate investing for me was going to look like, but I wanted to take advantage of the resources that were closest to me. And so with you, having this program about wholesaling, I knew you as a person and I already trusted you. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll just be a wholesaler. I'll give that.
Yeah,
And
we get a lot of bad rap for no reason. I don't know why.
I know. And I listened to a lot of Bigger Pockets podcasts, and I've heard that wholesaling was a good way to get started for new investors. A lot of people want to go in and do a flip, but that can like go left and you can be on the hook for a lot of money. I could go be an agent. I considered all these different paths, and I was like, you know what, let me try wholesaling. So.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So why don't we get into it then? Let's hop right into the juicy details about it. So tell everybody how much you closed for your first deal. Let everybody know how much it was, how you felt when you got it, and just the overall feeling when it was all said and done.
Yeah, so my first deal was $35,000.
Woohoo! Let's go. I love it.
Yes. So 35 grand. I can't even believe I'm saying that out loud. I never thought, before that I would see that sum of money at once in my bank account. It's kind of like surreal. So.
Yeah, I know we were talking offline kind of about the whole when you were first doing it. You're like, is this even real? Is this really a business?
Is this a scam? I have so many questions. I'm like, can you actually make money doing this? The answer is yes. The answer is
Of course you say yes now because the money got into your bank account.
yes.
No, I totally get it though. I feel like for a lot of people, you hear stories, you hear testimonials, but it doesn't feel real until you can literally go to your bank and put in your ATM card and just swipe for like $3,000 and be like, whatever. I got 32 grand left, right?
Absolutely.
I see. It's so crazy. So tell us, like, were you on the fence about kind of working on real estate, joining the program? And what made you kind of hop off the fence and kind of get things started? And then I guess kind of go into how you kind of found your first deal.
Sure. So, I mean, at first I was kind of dipping my toe in the water because, like you said, I wasn't sure if this was like really real. And I think just surrounding myself, I had joined a bunch of Facebook groups with other wholesalers. I was listening to like interviews, with like Max Maxwell and Antoine Campbell and like I think another one, Brent Daniels. So I kept on hearing these success stories. So that was like, okay, if they could do it, then, flip man, I'm like, why can't, I do it too? So that kind of gave me the motivation to just at least stay consistent. And we were talking about this offline too, that it was definitely more of an emotional journey and a mental journey than anything else.
Yeah, it was. The work itself is not that.
It's not that bad. It's honestly the mental and the emotional work that is.
It's just going through like the anxiety, dealing with things like, oh, is this gonna make the deal not work out? I remember some of the calls you called me and you're like, what should I do? What should I do? And I was like, just relax. I've been through this hundreds of times. Literally just relax, say this, do this. I remember one time it was so funny. Like you literally said exactly what I told you word for word, and I was like, I wanted you to put it into your own words. Oh,
Like, I didn't have my own words, Josh. I just had yours.
no, but that's what the program is for. Honestly, I literally give scripts. I'm like, just follow it. But one thing that was interesting for you though is that you are a woman in real estate, and you were telling me about some of the things that you were scared of. And for me, when I was working with you and some other young ladies, I was shocked to hear that. Like I was, me as a man, I was never scared to walk into a house and somebody was gonna, try to, do something to me or harm me, or maybe I should pepper spray. Like, talk a little bit about what that was like for you as a woman, because I know there's a lot of women trying to get into real estate as well. What kind of would be your advice for that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the process of getting my gun license.
Oh my gosh.
So I plan on carrying in the near future. But until then, I always take like a small knife with me.
Oh my gosh.
On every appointment, and I just try to be mindful. So I try to schedule my appointments during the day. I try to tell someone where I am. Usually when I'm walking up to the property, I'm on the phone and I'm getting off the phone saying, hey, I just arrived at the property. I'm going to give you a call back, and then I let the person who I'm meeting see that I'm doing that. So that someone knows where I am. So I just usually try to take those safety protocols. And if I can get someone that has some free time to go on the appointment with me, I will. But they'll just sit in the car, not like come in the house with me.
Yeah, I remember one time you told me you took your dad with you, right?
I sure did take my dad because I was gonna go see a vacant property in Baltimore City. I'm like, I'm not walking in there by myself. So yeah, I took my father. We went during the day, we took weapons, and it was great.
This is like my mom to me. I'm really trying to understand this. And for my ladies, please don't tell me I'm mansplaining stuff. Was there a point where you ever felt unsafe? Because I've never felt unsafe.
Do you want to hear a crazy story someone just told me this weekend?
Okay, tell me the crazy story.
So I was talking to another investor, and he does flips, and he also does some wholesale deals. He wholesales some properties. So he had gotten into contact with a homeowner who said that, are you one of those investors that, prey on people who can't pay their mortgage and like offer them like lowball deals and whatever. And he's like, I'm going to tell you what I did to the last people that came to my house. He said, I got my gun.
What?
And I told them to get naked and leave their cell phones. And then walk out of the property. And I was like, oh my God, give me that address now so I do not contact that homeowner.
Take them off my list.
I was gonna say I'm gonna put them on my do not contact list. I actually need to follow up because he never sent it. But yeah, so I'm super crazy. You only need to meet one crazy person, but I will say I have not had any bad experiences.
That's good. And I think that's what I was trying to communicate with you. Like, I feel like a lot of people, especially in that situation, they themselves need help. So a lot of them are not necessarily thinking of harming other people. But I see where you're coming from, and I totally get where you're coming from. Is of course be safe out there. But yeah, let's get back to the deal here.
Okay, let's go back to the.
Let's get back to the deal. How did you find the deal? Where did you get it from? Kind of go through the whole process of you getting that deal. How many offers did you make before you closed your first deal? How many appointments did you take? How many contracts did you send out, etc.?
Yeah, so I used a lot of the methods that you talk about in your first deal fast track course. So, sending out the emails, sending out mail consistently to those niche lists. I would say with that, I was consistent about 80% of the time. So I'm not gonna come on here and say, I was 100% consistent all the time, but 80% of the time, every 2 weeks, I was sending out mail. So I think that definitely helped. I had like a really good response rate from that, about like that 1% response rate that we had discussed. And I also had tried cold calling. That didn't really work for me.
Of course.
It did not work for me. So I think it's mostly just sending out those emails and then also sending out mail to those niche lists.
Yeah, I tell everybody like to stop cold calling, but some of you guys still want to try, and I say, you know what, go off and have fun, and then come back to me after you've tried it and your break.
Yeah. I mean, people do it and it works. And I got in contact with another wholesaler from North Carolina, and he gets a lot of deals from cold calling, but he has like a dialer. He's calling, 500 people a day. You calling 30 people a day is not, the numbers aren't there.
Yeah, honestly, no, because I actually hired a virtual assistant to like make phone calls for me, and we were doing like hundreds a day. And I mean, when we closed the deal, the check was very small. It was not even worth it for us. I literally said, cold calling is not it. So that's why I literally say, get these type of niche lists, attack those, and just be patient. The deals are going to come to you 100%. So you got your first deal. How many appointments would you say you went on before you closed your first deal? Um, and was there any time where you felt like, oh my goodness, I've been on like 10,000 appointments. What's going on?
So I was looking at my numbers recently. So I had went on about 12 appointments.
Okay.
Yeah, I went on about 12 appointments. And in terms of like offers putting out, about that many, I put out an offer every single time.
That is what you're supposed to do.
I give an offer every single time I go on an appointment. So yeah, that's about how many.
Okay. Out of those 12 appointments, how many signed contracts did you actually get?
I got 2.
And then you closed one of them.
And I closed one.
For 35,000. Not a bad day in the office. And that's what I usually say. Out of 10 appointments, you're gonna get one deal usually, give or take. You got 2 contracts, you close one large deal, you'll be good there, is what I usually find out. So now you've closed your first deal, you've gotten paid, what are some of the things that you feel like if you had known this from the beginning, you would have done this from day one?
Mm-hmm. I would say don't be afraid to make mistakes. And I know that everyone says that, but I think that was what I didn't know was what was giving me anxiety.
Mm.
But what this process taught me is that you don't need to know everything up front. Like I didn't know anything about dealing with the title process until the both contracts were already at the title. And then I was asking you questions like, okay, what is this buyer information contact sheet that's supposed to be sent out? I don't understand what's going on. So I think wholesaling, it's I don't know, it's kind of intricate because you have to understand each process. So there's like the marketing, and then you need to understand how to go an appointment, how to make an offer, and then you need to understand how to market that deal, and then you have to do like the coordination with the title company and then closing it. So you kind of have to understand all those different parts. Like you are the middleman who's talking to the attorney, who's talking to the rehabber, who's talking to the seller, who's talking to buyers. So I don't know. I think that could be like the most discouraging part for new wholesalers because you might be able to get the deal, but then dispositioning the deal as an entire skill is a different skill set altogether.
Yes, ma'am. And you need to understand each step of the process. And that's why I literally, when people tell me like, hey, I feel like I can do it on my own through YouTube videos. I don't really need a mentor. I look at them and I laugh at it and I cry inside a little bit, honestly, because I know what you're gonna go through, and I'm like, just save yourself the time, get a mentor. For you, what do you feel like the difference between? Do you feel like you could have done all this without a mentor?
No.
The mentor, what would you feel like would have been the difference for you if you didn't have a mentor like me helping you out on the
Well, with God, all things are possible. Amen. So,
deal?
so can you close a deal? Just using YouTube videos. The answer is yes. But it might take you 3 years. Yeah, it might take you 3 years, and you might be frustrated the whole 3 years. And I think too, when it comes to a business venture, if you're not rewarded within usually 12 months, 12, let's say even 18 months, how many people can do something for 500 days and not get a penny back?
Yeah,
That might very well be you if you do not have a mentor.
I tell people like that perseverance. My story. It took me 6 months to close my first deal. If I didn't have, I had blind like determination that I was going to close a deal no matter what. So for me, even though 6 months went by before I closed my first deal, like for me, I was like, I don't care. I am going to keep doing it until the wheels fall off. That's just how I felt. I was very passionate about real estate, and thank God I had a mentor who helped actually even make the time a little bit shorter than it should have been. But if I was who I am now, more risk averse, I have a family now, would
Yeah.
I be doing it for 6, 12, 18? I probably would not, to be perfectly honest with you. That's why I feel like having somebody who's been there, done that really, really helps a lot. What would you feel then is your advice for like new wholesalers who want to get started, they want to get into real estate, but they don't know where to go? What would be like, okay, these are some of the things I would do step 1 to 5?
Whew, if I was a new wholesaler, okay, I would understand how to run comps. It's probably like one of the first things that I'm gonna do. Because I'm in a lot of wholesale groups, and I see some of the numbers, and
They suck.
I'm like, huh? Like the other people are confused. Like people are commenting online, like who ran these numbers? Like who pulled these comps for you? Because you're saying the ARV is literally double what it is. So that's really important. And then I would say too, I would just honestly say get a mentor, because there's so many parts that, I've watched all the wholesaling YouTube videos. I love them, but there's so many things that they don't tell you, because you can't fit a whole transaction, in a 30-minute video or a 15-minute video. You're not getting all the steps. So I would say invest the money up front to be able to cut your cost and cut your time too.
Yeah,
So.
I feel like if there was one thing I was grateful for having the mentor is the time curve. It literally slashed it in half. I mean, even now, my mentor, my partner, he's really somebody I lean on. Even today, even though I've done so many transactions, if I'm feeling uneasy about something, I still know, hey, I can call him and he can kind of help me walk through it. So that time curve is a big deal. 3 years to close a deal that's not going to work. But I
Uh-huh.
would have been doing something else. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah. I've
Honestly.
I've spoken to a few wholesalers who like mentors, and they say, "Oh yeah, I run to people all the time who haven't done a deal in 2 years." They're like, or they haven't still haven't done their first deal.
That hurts my heart. And the
So
thing about it is that even though it seems like there's not a lot of deals out there, there actually are. You just have to know how to find them. And when you're hitting those niche lists, the competition is not as much. I mean, you can attest to it. And it's the seller's market now. So I mean, from the deal that you actually just closed that seller's market actually worked to your benefit versus
it
against
worked
you.
to my benefit, absolutely.
So I feel like no matter what the market condition is, there are always deals to be had. You just have to have the systems in place to kind of get those deals in close though. Okay, what for you will be kind of the last piece of advice you would give anybody wanting to start in the business? Something that they can glean from your journey of closing your first deal.
Man, my main piece of advice would be to just keep on being consistent, even when you don't feel like it.
And that's the goal, consistency. Consistency is key. If you literally follow kind of, stuff that I go through in the program and just do it consistently, you will get a deal. For me, it's like a no-brainer. It's just that having that consistency to keep doing it time and time again. But yeah, Eva, I really appreciate this. One thing I usually ask my guests is kind of if there's a book they recommend for people to read or check out. Is there one that you feel really helped you a lot? You want to kind of recommend that to the folks here?
Yeah, in terms of, I'm a big podcast girl, so I love Bigger Pockets.
Yeah.
And now they have this, they have different series, Bigger Pockets Money, where they just talk about like financial independence and all that stuff. But they have the Real Estate Rookie podcast. So they only interview people that have done like their first deal or second deal or third deal. So I think that's really helpful and inspiring for new investors. And I also really recommend, in terms of books, who.
That's a tough one. There's so many
I don't
people.
even know where to start. All of them. just become a reader.
And that's actually a good point. Just become a reader. I know one thing I talk to you about that I harm you about all the time is, even after you get your first deal, getting your first deal closed is where the journey for financial freedom starts. What you do with that check means a lot. And it can set you up for your next 10 deals. I mean, I told you that, between closing my first deal and my second deal for me was 2 weeks. And that was because I had set myself up for success. So super important that you guys actually do that as well. So keep reading is what you say. The Bigger Pockets podcast for rookies.
Oh, and then one more too. I think setting up systems too can help you with that consistency, because I don't know, when you don't have systems in place and it's not like mechanical for you, you kind of have to gather up the emotional energy every time.
Good point. You have systems,
So
100%.
when you have a virtual assistant that, whether you're in a good mood or not, whether you're discouraged or encouraged or not, those emails are still getting sent. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I tell people all the time, like, you know what, just get the virtual assistant. It will help you a lot.
It will help you. And then with the mail, you have calendar reminders, you have a seamless process you go through. It calls you additional emotional energy when you already are depleted to do those tasks. So
Honestly, and that's one thing I love about kind of what I do, because not only do I kind of give you the tools and technique, I actually give you the virtual assistant so you can kind of do this yourself as well. Kind of get that. I can't just imagine you doing this without a virtual assistant, Eva. You would have just, I don't know.
I was like, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done.
Because I know he was sending out like 500 emails a day for you, right?
Yeah, he sent out about 500 emails a day, and he does my mailers for me too now. So even today we were having a conversation. I was like, "Hey, did you send out the mailers?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, I even had to think about it.
Exactly. Literally, I'm telling you, my virtual assistants.
Moved. I'm not thinking about sending out mail today, and it was done, and I didn't have to think about it. So
And that's the best thing, systems, like even if you didn't ask them, it was already done. So it's just that consistency, hitting your stride, hitting your goals. But Eva, I really appreciate you coming to hang out with the crew today. Thanks for all your work. Congrats on your success, that 35K. Don't tell your parents about it, because you know how arrogant parents can be. I'm just gonna leave that there. Let me keep that money for you, and then you'll never see it again.
I'll never see it again. No, no.
You never see it again, right? But again, thanks so much. If you guys want to learn more about this, about the First Deal Fast Track Academy, you can book a call below and chat with me and one of the team. But on that note, I will catch you guys later. All right, Eva, ciao for now.
All right, bye bye. Thank you.